All right, let's go. Let's see what Rudy says and then see if we even give a shit.
Another episode of Rudy's Common Sense.
Yes. And apparently he's using the same rose filter I was accidentally using when I was in San Diego, or the camera that makes everybody pink.
And today, Common Sense is going to be a warning.
Oh, thank God. And we've got a new microphone in front of him. Like he's got an old SM57. They're running a full rig there, man. That is an XLR mic. That's all right.
Checklist.
A warning and a checklist. Great. So
a checklist.
Did somebody just sneeze in the background? Hold on.
Warning. A checklist. A check.
Yep. Somebody sneezed in the background. He was waiting for them to finish the sneeze.
List to see if there is any possibility that the Department of Justice can be fair.
Oh my God. Get on with it.
Equitable, and enforce even some of the most serious laws of the United States.
Well, you're not in jail, so I guess not. We've answered our question. Let's move along.
If it involves a high-level Democrat. But here's
a heavy fucking edit. What is that? What's the note? Look at this shit. That is an old-fashioned teleprompter. That is a folding whiteboard. Glenn Beck, eat your heart out. It's the Flintstones version of Glenn Beck's set. And this side camera, what they do? Just smear Vaseline on the fucking lens? Watch this.
If it involves a high-level Democrat. But here's the memo that explains the racketeering case, which should be on the front page of every newspaper in America until it's solved, until he's forced to answer for this under oath.
Terrible. Until it's solved. The crime of the century is solved. The memo, which of course comes from a knockoff copy of Russian disinformation that you bought in Ukraine from Russian sock puppets years ago during Poroshenko's regime, after Yanukovych was deposed and the Russians were trying to get themselves back on top, and they were hoping that you would help them do it and Donald Trump would assist. Yeah.
I love all of you, but I don't receive any respect, and that's fine, I guess.
Oh, this fucking shit? We have been 2 fucking years. They've had hundreds of thousands of documents and blah, blah, blah. And we keep seeing a picture of a photocopy of a frame of a piece of a whatever of this same shit. Also, bagmen don't bitch.
Yes. Works for you, apparently. I hope you all can do what I did. Okay. And pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years.
Excuse me, it's fro 30 years. Obviously, he's talking about haircuts.
It's really hard.
Obviously, he's talking about something else.
But don't worry, unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary.
Yeah, bagmen don't give half. They give all of it. They get a little payment for carrying the bag, but they don't get to keep anything that's in the bag.
Now,
I solved it. You're welcome. Fuck you. Also, I don't believe it's real.
I'm a prosecutor.
No, you're not. You're an old fart who used to be mayor and facilitated the Russian and Chinese mob taking over New York.
Am I supposed to say I don't believe that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, because as a prosecutor, you would be using city, state, and federal funds in some cases to prosecute this. And what you would be using as evidence is a photocopy of a copied text from a hard drive that contains no metadata that proves the statement was real in the fucking first place. And because the chain of evidence and the discovery on it was so poorly handled that any first-year law student will get anything that's on the hard drive thrown out. There is nothing actionable on the hard drive. And if you ever manage to get Biden or Hunter or anybody involved in this in front of a fucking judge in a courtroom, Their lawyer would just go, Your Honor, fruit of the poison tree. This all comes from a stolen, copied hard drive, which we can't even verify the full contents of. They've had they held it in their possession for 3 years. There were files copied to and from it, added things, folders added. The hard drive was renamed. There is no chain of custody on any of this. So if they found this piece of evidence because of what they say is evidence on there, we want it all thrown out. And the judge would go, oh yeah, cool. All right, next case. Fucking hell.
Is it enough for him to come and say, I didn't mean it?
Yes. Well, no, he doesn't even have to say that. His lawyer just has to go, we don't cop to that being real at all, but there's no chain of evidence to any of this shit.
I say, for 30 years, I've been robbing banks with Joe Smith.
Joe Smith. Right. Those Mormons, man.
And in fact, a bunch of banks were robbed during that period of time.
Right. And you didn't, by the way, technically speaking, you didn't say you robbed them. Also, what you define as robbery is someone working at the bank and that you don't think they deserve their salary. So you consider it kind of robbery. And none of the banks that were robbed were the ones that the guy worked at. And how else would, and he didn't tell you or say it. Someone else said he said it in an email that is a copy of an email that they say he said.
There are kind of texts showing that we had some involvement with that.
No, there aren't. There are pictures of thought bubbles that were blue and now they're gray.
But I say, I didn't really mean it. Then let me go?
No, they don't even have, you don't even have to do that. You can go, that's not my texts. And they go, well, you need discovery. No, you don't get to go on a fishing expedition because of information you obtain through ill-gotten means.
This is what you call
bullshit, hoo-ha, hornswoggle, garbage,
this here
nonsense
is an admission.
No, that is a piece of paper with a picture on it. And I don't even know what the fuck that is. This is what are we seeing on the screen? Fuck me. The top of a piece of paper. He's holding it towards the camera. I can't.
It is completely an
horse shit, poppycock, horse pucky. That's right.
Absolutely admissible in a court of war.
No, I'm sorry, a court of war? Wait, what was that?
It is completely and absolutely admissible in a court of war.
A court of war. I hope you know this means law.
And it's an extraordinarily powerful and damaging piece of evidence.
No, it isn't. It's not damaging. It's not powerful. It's the same garbage you've been throwing around and showing pictures of for fucking 2 years. It means nothing. There's no chain of evidence. You can't prove he said it. Even if he said it, you can't infer a crime from it unless you have other evidence of the crime. There is none. You have the taxes of his dad. You have his taxes. Like, it's just fucking stupid.
I rarely had such damaging evidence in the RICO cases that I won.
Nonsense.
And put people in jail
Nonsense.
Sometimes for 100 years.
Oh, so those people shouldn't have been put in jail is what you're saying. Thank you.
He gives you the amount of time, 30 years. That's a long-term enterprise. RICO.
That's not paying for the family. That's not a crime. None of that is a crime. None of this is a crime. He loves all of them, so he's doing it for love. I mean, let's just understand this whole bubble's bullshit. But I love all of you, but I don't receive any respect, and that's fine, I guess. Works for you, apparently. I hope you all can do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years. Again, not a criminal enterprise. You just the rich son that, I guess, pays for the shutters at the lake house. It's really hard, but don't worry, unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary because he was a drug addict. That's the theory, is that he was addicted to drugs and they held on to half his salary for a time. He got it back, but they held on to it because he was snorting all of it, was the theory.
Go.
None of this is a crime.
He says it, the entire family was getting schmoozed with it.
Schmoozed with it. Yeah.
It's an enterprise.
Illegal. It was Rico schmoothing. Rico schmoothe.
And he had to give half to, well, who do you give half to? The Don, the boss.
No, you give all of it to the fucking Don, dummy.
You give half to the top guy.
No, you give all of it to the top guy. That's why he's the fucking top guy. Again, bagmen don't get to keep the bag, dum-dum. And if they do, it's after the contents have been emptied out.
Now,
And you're the bagman. You get the bag. Congratulations.
Bye.
Bye, love you. Hold on. I don't want to. Fine. I'll get him dinner. Yeah. And let me know if you need anything when you get home. I'll have something ready for you.
It'll be 11.
Okay, well then I guess not. Snuggles. See you in a bit. Summer's got to fill in on a job where everybody's got, everybody who's supposed to be working the job got COVID. So she's got to, go in cold and run this event tonight, and it's not going to be fun. So we send our love and our support, and then when she gets home, she gets Snuggles. Just to try and make it a little bit better as best I can. Yeah, don't forget to give a thumbs up, by the way, to the stream. Give us a like. Type something below in the comments section if you feel like that, if you're watching this later. Also, there is a heart button sometimes when you watch later below the screen that allows you to support the show if you're watching this at another time. Please feel free. Okay, here we go.
we know that
No, you don't.
from evidence from all over the place.
Yes, the evidence is from all over the place. The Kremlin, it's from St. Petersburg, Moscow, Siberia, wherever the Russians have a KGB outlet or a FSB outlet,
We
or GRU, whatever the fuck it is now. How do you like on Twitch? You follow on Twitch or you subscribe on Twitch. That's how you do it. Thank you very much for asking.
we know that from the text.
No, you don't. Those aren't. Those texts are not. No court would view those texts as legitimate. And any one of Hunter's lawyers, if you guys let any of this stuff get anywhere near evidentiary hearings, it's hilarious.
In which a
Oh yeah, I forgot about the. Hold on. Let's see. I gotta see. Hold on one second. Where the heck is it? Okay, hold on. Let's see. I don't know how let's see. How do we, let's see. Do I have, I don't have Skype on this guy. Let me see. How do I call in? Yeah, I don't because I'm not hooked up to my Rodecaster right now because I disassembled everything. I mean, it's going to be recorded, so we'll do a part of it if we want to.
a middleman
Yeah, I mean,
named
you can't say anything.
Eric Schwerin is constantly trying to settle accounts between what Joe's going to pay for and what his son's going to pay for. You see many
Yeah, shutters, toilet fixtures.
household expenses paid for by the son.
So what?
You see $11 million earned by Joe the first year he's out of office.
From his book?
You have a prosecutor in Ukraine that wants to come to the U.S. and testify, but we won't let him come, who says that he has every reason to believe that Joe has an offshore account, possibly two, with a woman who says she has the numbers for it.
Oh, you mean the guy who's living in Russia right now?
This woman was in danger of being killed about a year and a half ago, and we gave that information to the Justice Department.
Is she dead?
Gave it to Bill Barr.
And he did nothing because he was trying to get her killed? because it's better if she's dead than if she actually testifies to what she's saying?
Through the Pittsburgh U.S. Attorney.
Oh yeah, remember the whole thing about QAnon saying that pinky rings make you a pedo, especially if you wear them without other rings. Like, it's one thing to have every finger with rings on it, but just a pinky ring is to let everybody know. It's the old, like, it's pedo hanky code, and still Rudy got one.
Attorney, don't know what happened to that.
Yeah, gee, I don't know. Maybe she's dead. Maybe, I mean, it's just a dead woman, right, Rudy? She was just crucial to your case. Why would you even take, like, I just forgot. I don't even know.
In fact, we gave all of our evidence to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and nobody was ever interviewed.
Huh. Maybe it's because they recognized it wouldn't stand up in court and you couldn't subpoena or get anybody because of the chain of evidence, because you fucked up, Rudy? Because you touched that hard drive?
Nobody ever investigated.
I did. I've done my own investigation. By the way, I've looked at all the testimony that you guys have talked about. I've watched all your fucking shows. I've watched all the John Paul McIsaac interviews about what occurred when he got the fucking thing. I've read the articles about Keith Abloh and when the hard drive, the laptop was initially dropped off at fucking Abloh's house before all this bullshit about the repair shop.
Things like that. Like a woman who says, if you come here, I'll identify the accounts.
If you come here, I'll identify the accounts. You'll never lure me in there with your feminine wiles, lady.
I'll show you the people that helped me put the money in the Biden accounts. They were never even interviewed.
It's weird. It was almost like they tried to find them and they didn't exist.
We have a prosecutor in Ukraine who's suing Biden.
Uh-huh.
Saying that Biden got him fired because he wouldn't shut down the Burisma case. And then we have others there that say that the bribe was to Joe.
Oh, look at that cut.
There that say that the bribe was to Joe Biden.
Okay, sure.
And that the bribe was to...
You can cut to the other angle when you do an edit in the other situation, but for some reason that needed to be a hot cut.
Drop the case on the $20-30 billion Burisma company that was illegally formed, and to allow
Burisma was illegally formed?
Mykola Zlochevsky to keep $5 billion that he stole.
Uh-huh. Oh, you mean the guy who was working under Yanukovych when Burisma was actually a sock puppet company, and then it leveled out? And no, we're just going to pretend that Zelensky running the place and Yanukovych running the place is exactly the same. I mean, at this point, why don't we just go back to when the USSR was running? Why don't we just reinstate the USSR's control over Ukraine? You know, to the let's just pretend it's 1987 there.
And that he paid more than.
By the way, this picture is not on Hunter Biden's laptop.
Whatever you see on paper to the Bidens, sometimes it's listed as 14 million, sometimes it's 20. But then he paid a massive bribe of $50 to $100 million to President Poroshenko of Ukraine, which is maybe why the Ukrainian government is sitting on it. All this evidence is available by witnesses who would...
Yeah, all this, it's just people who used to work for Yanukovych and Vladimir Putin, and I don't know why no one will listen to them. They're lovely people. Sure, they spray poison in people's faces and disappear their enemies, and we're trying to destroy Ukraine from the inside. But, you know, I mean, better them than that Jewish dude who's running the country and has let it become infested with Nazis.
Would testify to it in court.
Yeah, but using what evidence? Shit that will never stand up. It's a waste of fucking time.
All of it's dismissed as not true or
right. Yes, as a lie.
Russian disinformation.
Correct. It is untrue and Russian disinformation. It is your responsibility to prove otherwise. And if you're a photocopy of a single text message taken out of a chain of texts allegedly during an argument is your crucial piece of evidence, especially when you got it from this fucking bullshit laptop story, it's never going to see the light of day. You fucked up, Rudy.
Got nothing to do with Russia. I was dismissed as Russian disinformation.
No, we know you're real. We just think you're a useless idiot.
Until the New York Times and the Washington Post said everything in the hard drive was true.
No, they didn't.
Think your homeowner's insurance covers home title fraud?
No, I don't. I don't even think it covers ghost piano players hiding
Think again.
around me.
And neither
Where could they be? Why is there suddenly
does
pianos?
your common identity
Why
theft
is the
program.
piano playing?
The FBI calls
Stop the piano! I live in fear of the piano.
home title fraud one of the fastest.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Just ads. Same houses, same graphics, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
.com. And then you've got a document
No, you don't.
that's on my podcast, just a piece of paper
Yeah, just a piece of rubber.
that shows you laundering of over $3 million from Ukraine to
What is this? Ralph Boulevard, Latvia, European Union. There's a fax number. Request permission request. The Ukrainian PIU subject Burisma Holding Limited. Dear colleagues, Office for Prevention of Laundering of Proceeds Derived from Criminal Activity, further in text, the Latvian FIU, is currently investigating suspicious activity of Burisma Holding Limited. When is this? Yeah, 1802-2016. According to the publicly available information, publicly available information, Burisma Holding Limited and its director, Hunter Biden, he wasn't the director of Burisma, are involved in corruption affair. They are involved in corruption affair following transactions made to Burisma Holding Limited account in as Privat Bank, as known in Latvian FIU, from July 20th of 2012 till the July of 2015, total of $14,666,982 US dollars and 366,015 euros were received from WireLogic Technology AS as payments for loan agreements. From July of 2015 till the December of 2015, total of $1,900,000 were received from Digital Organizations LLP in the United Kingdom as payments for loan agreements. The funds were partially transferred from Burisma Holdings accounts to Devon Archer, Hunter Biden, Alan Napter, and Alexander Kvapasheva. See attachment for partial movement of funds.
Latvia, from Latvia to Cyprus, into the account of Rosemont Seneca. You see.
Yes, apparently so. There's a bunch of money coming in, over $1 billion. Some of the money that comes in, the timing is it came in and then it was time for them to get paid. So that money came in and then a couple days later they got their payment. So the idea is that money came from them and went straight into their pockets instead of as it was part of the whole $1 billion thing. It was just they got paid. You get paid on Friday. Your boss gets, a payment from an order on Monday. That has nothing to do. You didn't get money from that order. You got paid your salary or your fee for getting more money into the organization.
The money coming from Cyprus,
where Wilbur Ross used to work,
where it went as a loan, and then it was an actual payment, laundered by the premier laundering firm in the premier laundering firm in Ukraine.
Oh, I didn't realize. Well, I'm glad it was top notch. You want those dollars very crisp, not too much starch, or it's too hard to fold your wallet.
Right through their banks, different company names and different descriptions, and then finally it comes out.
People borrowed money to put into they took money and put it into Burisma to get investments into there because the return on the investment would be higher than the cost of the loan itself because money was so fucking cheap post 2010.
And it takes a year or two to find it because they cover it up, and accidentally, or maybe because of government process, it comes out in the trial. They didn't think there'd be people sharp enough to keep on top of it, or they hoped it would be the press that would cover it up, but we found it. And there it is
Dun, dun,
The money,
dun.
you can see it on paper, right?
You could see a Russian sock puppet writing a letter from Latvia to their buddies in Ukraine, trying to fix refix the grip that Russia had on Ukraine by chipping away at the people that were trying to help Ukraine become independent.
To my podcast, the money going right to Rosemont Seneca. Again, a firm owned by Hunter Biden, Kerry's stepson, and Devin Archer.
So what?
I don't know if you realize what's happened to you, what's been done to you.
Me? I don't know. I feel pretty good, actually. Fit, feel good. I've been on the road a little bit. So I didn't get as much sleep, I think, this weekend. But what do you mean? What happened to me? What's happened?
And I have a fear that these people who I don't understand who they are anymore.
Yeah, me neither. Who?
Or the press that sucks up to them, and
yeah, the press sucking up to people who aren't maybe even there.
Just writes lies for them.
Yeah, for them, whoever they is them. We don't know who is them. Only they know who is them.
After lie, after lie,
after lie, after lie,
after lie.
A lie.
Does Russian collusion for 4 years and never even apologizes for it.
Well, that's because, but for Bill Barr's interference, the report would have pointed directly at money that Trump was getting from Russia and the Alpha Bank connections and his own debts as the motive for why he might be doing stuff through Deutsche Bank, as motivation for why he was doing things that favored Russia repeatedly.
Wins Pulitzer Prizes for it and doesn't give back them. They won a Pulitzer Prize for a false story.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Mr. Thought Bubble printed out.
Not only that, they won a Pulitzer Prize for a conspiracy to obstruct justice. That story is not just a story. It's a conspiracy to take out a candidate for president. And then
he was already president.
Take out a duly elected president of the United States based on false charges.
No, it wasn't. It was their attempt to report on details that were continually coming out. And then there was a bulwark against them looking into his finances, which you argued about and he argued about. And he was always going to show his taxes and all that kind of stuff. But the reason he didn't was because where there's smoke, there's fire, dum-dum.
You realize how serious that is?
No. How serious is it?
Except in our warped, woke society.
This is a woke thing now?
But if you want,
I want you to get on with it.
To catch up a little, and you want to just go to 2 that would tell you the story.
Yeah.
Here's the more recent one.
Wait, they're what?
And
okay,
it's
what? It's
episode 175.
Okay, episode.
Here it is. It's called
episode 175. Wait a minute. Hunter was taping episodes of a show, and he was releasing.
Boss of the Biden crime family. Here's the picture.
That's your episode. Again, same fucking picture. He's smoking in bed. Yes, it's a crime against humanity. With Miranda Devine, also full of shit.
Again, it's 175, and you see.
Yeah, why? Don't sell me other episodes. Explain yourself or shut the fuck up.
Miranda Devine is the.
We've watched all this stuff. I've seen this one already.
Guest. She
wrote a book, we know, about using a copied hard drive that was copied from another hard drive that was given to Mr. Joshua.
Lays out many of these allegations and the proof of it from the hard drive.
I'm sorry, the what? It's from the what?
There's Hunter
smoking a cigarette,
demonstrating quite clearly. We'll show you a bunch more photos because they're going to become relevant.
Why is him smoking in bed relevant?
Of his situation. But you go through this, you get a pretty good idea of what has to be answered if we're going to make America a democracy again.
America is a democracy. It's your party that wants it not to be one.
Because a country that doesn't have equal justice, I don't know, it's not really a democracy.
Well, any country where one of our enemies can cook up evidence and have somebody like you carry it all over the place in an attempt to take down the sitting president, which is exactly, I guess, what you are accusing others of doing, curiously enough,
Country
should, I would be of concern.
of laws, it's not a republic. I don't know what it is. It's getting close to being a socialist dictatorship, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
With a half-wit as the dictator.
I'm sorry, you're one of those people who thinks Trump's still president, aren't you?
Man, if you can't figure that out, there's something really wrong with you. But now let's go through a simpler one.
Yes, in deference to him, because I'm losing interest.
One that
yeah, get on with it. I feel like literally, I feel like I've sat down on the bus next to a dude with a notebook full of scribbles.
One that's a little easier. I don't know. Maybe the others are pretty simple, but this one's really, really simple.
Really, really.
And I think this one becomes relevant now because of the horrible tragedy in Buffalo.
Oh boy.
In Buffalo, we had a terrible shooting, motivated in large part, if not completely, by race, based on the memo, or rather a manifesto.
Yeah, it's a memo. Basically, he sent you the early copy when it was just a memo.
Left behind by the murderer. And
he didn't leave it there. He posted it online. Never mind.
The issue
Doesn't
there,
matter.
and it's once again, although in this case, the motive is white racism. In Waukesha, Wisconsin, it was black racism against whites. Black Lives Matter sympathizer who drove into the Christmas crowd. We could go over different ones of these, but they all come back to, then the Democrats yell,
"What the fuck? Get on with it!"
for gun control, gun control, gun control. Gun control.
Yeah, just gun control, gun control, gun control, gun control, gun control.
The way it's enforced, gun control is useless because it's not enforced.
Well, that settles it. I mean, I seldom can you get clarity like that from another human being. You cut me to the quick, Rudy. He's solved it. It might be that we do have laws on the books and they're just not being implemented because everyone is afraid of nutcase gun manufacturers and people who stockpile weapons. That could possibly, is that not what you were saying? That's not what he was saying.
Before we decide if we need other gun control laws,
we need other gun control laws.
How about we enforce the ones that we have, and particularly in Democrat states? But there are gun laws.
Look at that. And by the way, get to something from the hard drive. What is this supposed to be?
They do exist.
Gun control? Gundam troll. He's a Gundam troll.
And in this particular case in Buffalo, whether he was a white racist or a black racist.
He was a white racist. He shot black people. I mean, there's no question. Like, he wrote a fucking manifesto.
Or a Black Lives Matter guy or an Antifa guy.
Yeah, he wasn't any of those things. He was a racist white guy.
He went and he got a gun.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy in Waukesha didn't have a gun. He had a car. So we set up situations where even though people are allowed free association and freedom of movement in our country, we can also set up pylons and blockade streets on days when we have parades so assholes like that can't run over people in the future. So similar things, maybe gun control aspects would be great, like smart guns, like guns that, you need a finger trigger match to be able to fire. And in certain areas, they could jam guns so nobody's gun works. How about that in the future? I like it.
He bought a gun.
Right.
However,
several. And he got some as gifts.
He had a record. Had a serious record. of having threatened to kill people in the school.
A serious record of having to. By the way, remember what Bongino said about this earlier. Just keep that in mind.
Having talked about killing people and destroying people. A record that was so bad it was reported to the police.
A record. That's not okay.
A record that was so bad he was put in the hospital for a day and a half for evaluation.
Are we still talking about Lee Greenwood? Which record are we talking about?
And he was evaluated as dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
They had the option of putting that in his file.
Right.
They weren't required to, but they had the option to do it.
Uh-huh.
They didn't.
Because they wanted this to happen.
They did not.
They didn't?
If they did,
I thought they didn't.
and if New York were competent enough to have the system work, which is another question, because the state is dysfunctional, then he never would have gotten the gun.
Yeah, he would have. He'd just gotten it from a red state.
And if you believe in gun control, right, and you want more gun control laws,
Uh-huh.
why aren't you outraged at that? Because you can have more gun control laws, and if they're not enforced, it's not going to mean anything. You have a law right now in most states
In most states.
that says that.
What? Yes. Okay. So this is what most states have a law that says what? Let's hear it. This is a man who knows the law. Rico Suave,
A criminal,
a criminal, which this guy was not.
a person who is addicted or
A person who is addicted
was addicted,
or was addicted
or
to what? Because I got to tell you, I've watched the Pentaverate like 15 times now, and I think I need help.
a person who has a history of mental problems.
What kind of problems are we talking about? Are we talking about thinking you're Napoleon Bonaparte or like yours?
Should not be allowed to buy a gun.
Okay,
That's a law.
that's a law. Person who thing and the thing and the thing. That's the law. It's different in every state, and a lot of them don't enforce them, and it doesn't give a shit. A lot of red states don't even have those, and Republicans are trying to constantly overturn those.
In, I think, every place.
Yeah, well, they're every place.
I think.
I think. I don't know, but what do I know about the law?
If that law were followed correctly, if the state of New York were competent enough, governed competently enough,
Yeah, it was because there's a female governor right now. That's why.
like
Or de Blasio. It's de Blasio's fault in Buffalo.
New York City,
Where the fuck? By the way, hold on. Let's just see real quick. I mean, I know this is all horse shit, but The 18-year-old man who allegedly shot and killed 10 people on Saturday afternoon in Buffalo, New York, was motivated by hate, authorities say, targeting a supermarket in the heart of a predominantly black community. 11 of the 13 people shot by the white suspect were black. Fisher said, among the victims who ranged in age from 20 to 86, people grocery shopping, a heroic former police officer who tried to stop the gunman, a long-term substitute teacher, and a taxi driver who took pride in helping people. This was pure evil. Let's see. But he planned to continue his rampage, police say. When the suspect arrived at the store at 2:30, he was heavily armed, wearing tactical gear, including a tactical helmet along with plated armor, and had a camera that was live streaming his actions. He used an assault weapon, Flynn said. The suspect shot 4 people outside the grocery store, 3 fatally. Flynn said in his news release, then he entered the store, exchanged fire, blah, blah, blah. The suspect planned to continue his shooting rampage beyond the top supermarket, saying there was some documentation he allegedly planned to target another large superstore. There was evidence that was undercover that he had plans, had gotten out of there. It was let's see, where he got, I don't know if there's a thing about where he got the gun. He spent months plotting his attack, social media posts show. Hence the thing we saw from Bongholio earlier. The posts were made visible to a small group of people about 30 minutes before the shooting began. According to a statement from Discord, Gendron wrote in a post he went to 3 times during his visit at 12 p.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. He wrote it back to inside the store every time he went in, noting how many black and white people were in the market, also drawing a map of the inside of the store. During his 4 p.m. visit. He was approached by an armed security guard who asked the suspect what he was doing, going in and out of the store. He wrote, shooter told the security guard he was collecting consensus data. In hindsight, that was a close call. Shooter wrote about how he planned the attack for March 15th, but then delayed it several times. In the post, he cites online research in choosing Buffalo as his site of attack, saying that the 14208 zip code in Buffalo has a higher black population than the other locations he was considering. Shooter considered attacking a church or an elementary school, but ultimately chose a supermarket because of the number of people that go to the grocery store. Probably times we made a graph of where was who. Our deepest sympathies with good families. Dwindling size away. This is manifesto shit. He's from a town hours away from Buffalo. That's him. He made a generalized threat at high school. That's the record he's talking about. Made a generalized threat in June when he attended Susquehanna Valley Central High School in Conklin. Gromalia said Sunday, adding the threat was not racially motivated, well, to their knowledge at the time. Suspect was visited last year by state police after he did a high school project about murder-suicides. He had concern about alleged mental health issues were brought to light after he turned in the post-graduation project. He was taken into custody under the New York State's mental health law and transported to a hospital for mental health evaluation. Confirmed it was an evaluation, not an involuntary commitment, which meant he could still buy a gun. So it would not have prevented the suspect shooter from purchasing or possessing a firearm. There you go. So the law was followed. The only thing that you could argue should have been taken more seriously was that they should have done an involuntary commitment just to get that on the books because of that concern. So that he would need a special dispensation from a judge later on if he wanted to buy a gun. The why of why you are taken in on a mental health section 941 should entail that if it involves threats of violence, then you shouldn't be able to buy a gun. You shouldn't have to have an involuntary commitment about it, because if you don't have the means to carry it out, you could just be, in theory, you can go back home when you're 18 or you're younger. In theory, the suspect addressed the incident posts, writing in a post that he had to go to hospital's ER because I said the words murder-suicide to an online paper in economics class. I got out of it because I stuck with the story that I was getting out of class, and I just stupidly wrote that down. This is the reason I believe I'm still able to purchase guns. Now, I'm no former prosecutor. I've never tried a RICO case, but I sure as fuck can find evidence for my argument pretty goddamn easy just by looking it up. Now, I don't know what the fuck this dude is going to do, Rudy, to bring it back to Hunter Biden's laptop. And this is some major kiss the star gymnastics.
Was governed competently. No,
it was governed competently. Under the letter of the law, this kid knew what he was doing to avoid that part. He was aware enough of it so that he could keep, he didn't limit his ability. And it wouldn't have changed under Rudy. If anything, the law would be even more lax. These motherfuckers, Republicans they want to stop. Hold on, shit. Republicans. Let's see, 1 second. Yeah, here's hold on 1 second. There you go. This is a good example. Bill to keep guns out of the hands of domestic abusers stalled in Pennsylvania. This is from 2018. This was after Parkland. They tried to pass a law that would keep, domestic abusers and people who have a history of violence towards family members from getting guns. at least for like a 60-day hold on, just to check, again, checking with the judge to make sure that you're not going to lose it and do something, kind of like an extension of the 5-day or 7-day wait period. But the bill passed the Pennsylvania Senate unanimously in March, but the House version never came up for a vote. Now, after the summer recess, Democrats in the House and advocates of the bill are pushing Republican leaders to bring the bill to a vote. They didn't.
Was mayor, which is why crime went down 65%.
No, crime went down because leaded gasoline started ebbing its damage on the public psyche.
And then Bloomberg took it down even more
because all he had to do was be mayor when that happened.
The city.
It's like after a flood. I made the water recede more than any other mayor in history. Why? Well, because I became mayor right after the flood and the water just... Oh, thanks, Crazy Insane Alien. We hit 35K, and don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Thanks, everybody.
Was governed competently by honest people, not incompetently by a large number of crooks.
Again, gibberish.
Which is what New York State is now.
Fuck. Get on with the Hunter Biden stuff. How is this related?
They basically are thinking about how much money can they make for their relatives.
What? What? What are they taking out insurance on people going to grocery stores?
That's what the governor is thinking about in Buffalo. How much money for dad, for the father who has the concession on the stadium. That's what her lieutenant governor, who she picked right away, that's what he's in trouble for. You want to guess how many more of them do that? Just make a guess.
Besides you and Trump?
I'm not allowed to.
What do you mean you're not allowed to?
Now, I'm not going to say this crime would not have taken place. If the police and the hospital officials had done what they should have done and reported.
They did everything they were supposed to do. Hold on. Hold on. I want to look up something real quick. Term as mayor. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Hold on one second. I'll have to look it up later on. Sorry, I wanted to find a story, but it's going to take me too long.
I'm going to tell you why. A bad reason.
Why?
I'm not sure New York is competent enough to have picked it up on time. Because they're more worried about taking care of themselves. And that's why the Dawn Place has got to get reformed, just like all those cities where there was record crime.
Can you just wash your hands after? Is it too much to ask? Can you just... Also, what's with the Band-Aid on your finger? It's grossing me out.
It's not all incompetence. It's a lot incompetence. It's a lot corruption. But at least there'd be a chance. There is a chance that had they reported.
They did report it.
Had they reported it.
He's not even reading. I'm bored. All right, I'm done. I'm over it. This is rambly. It was bad enough that he hasn't brought it back to Hunter Biden stuff. I'll watch the end of it at some point on my own. But for fuck's sake, I'm 20 minutes over and I don't know where the fuck he's going. Now he's fumbling with papers on his desk. Oh, get on with it, you dipshit. By the way, thank the Lord Almighty, whoever you believe is beyond the great beyond, for the fact that this asshole was crucial in Trump's plan to overturn the election and reinstate himself like a third level Xi Jinping. Thank you, Jesus, and everyone involved. Praise the Lord that the people running this thing were this fucking dumb.
It might not have happened.
You're off mic, dum-dum.
It might not have happened.
You're off mic, dum-dum.
Now, if you're asking like the president does and Schumer, every time there's a crime for more gun control laws.
Yeah, nobody cares if there's every time there's a crime. Nobody wanted to respond to Enron with tightening gun restrictions.
Don't you have to show you're applying the ones you have effectively?
They did. That's exactly what happened. As a matter of fact, I think I suggested something that might actually tighten these laws up a little bit in a way that you don't have to be forcibly committed to not be able to buy a gun, at least for a period of time. How about a 5-year limit if you're taken in on a mental health order, especially if you're young?
Don't you? Well, New York isn't. Okay. Now, let me show you an example to the American people that once again proves that Biden and the Democratic Party are a group of dangerous hypocrites.
Oh, God.
And I'm going to give you just a little outline of this. Okay.
Oh, yeah. God forbid. Don't give us details. All I need is the broad strokes.
That I happen to have right here.
Jesus Christ. He got a microphone, and now he just is like, yabba, 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 yabba. Fucking hell. Wait a minute.
That I happen to have right here.
Snap. Anybody else? No? Rudy's common sense. Part of the common sense is if I'm looking over here and you change angles on the camera, more than likely I'm not going to magically be looking over here. Fucking hell. I don't know what he just said, and I don't care.
On October 12th.
Oh, God. Get on with it.
Of 2018.
Shut up.
Hunter Biden.
Oh, what the fuck does Hunter Biden have to do with the Buffalo shooter, you shit?
Went into a store in Delaware.
Oh, and he threw a gun in the garbage can.
And he purchased a .38 revolver.
38 revolver? That's not the gun that was thrown in the fucking dumpster.
No question about it.
Right?
No question about it.
Right. He'd never been involuntarily hospitalized for addiction. He viewed himself as an addict, but he wasn't. This the idea that he was a drug addict and he bought a gun and he lied on the form because he bought a gun without telling him he was an addict. I got news for you. Addicts don't think they're addicts a lot of times. Also, he shook it. He's not still using crack. There might be an argument.
We'll take a short break.
Oh, fuck you. You don't get to tee up 38 special and... I can't. This guy was the president's lawyer. I don't even. Then file charges for misdemeanor lying on a gun purchase form for addiction. This kid did not shoot up a store because he was addicted to fucking crack or smoking in the bathtub or in bed or a sex addict, you dumb. By the way, I would for the record, I'm fairly certain if we're going to worry about addicts, sex addicts are the least of our worries because none of those people want to go out with a bang, if you know what I'm saying. This is terrible.